This episode may contain language or discussions that may be offensive or triggering. Refer to the episode summary for details. So, welcome to SheConfidential. My name is Charlene Ketchum, and I'm chatting today with Mr. Ronald Gunn, who is the people's chef and the people's preacher, is what he is known by. So, we're gonna kind of be a little bit all over the place today. For those of you who don't follow Ron on social media and have never had his fried rice, when you come to St. Louis, you need to check it out because it is seriously like some of the best fried rice ever. People who watch the show or listen, they know I'm a foodie. I love food, and I always highlight like what's my favorite spots and favorite things. So they definitely need to check you out, and you've got an announcement to make related to that you'll be able to share with people soon. But we're gonna just dive right in. So I wanted to talk to you about, are things really so bad between Black men, women, and men? Because you keep seeing all these things on social media with people acting like we've got this war and we can't communicate with each other and there's all this acrimony. Is it really that bad, or is it like social media hyping it up?
I think the environment for the group of people that you're looking at is really the catalyst for the thought process. So, on the grand scale, I don't think it's that bad between Black men and Black women. Do we have our issues? Hell yeah. Should we communicate better? Hell yeah. Could we work through our issues if we communicated? Hell yeah. So, but that's any group of people.
Mm-hmm.
The ethnicity really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. And the only reason I specify the ethnicity is because my target audience is Black women. And so that's the only reason why I specified it. But I'm glad that you did mention that's across all cultural groups and ethnicity and racial groups. Communication can be improved across the board. So why do you think we have these communication problems?
You gotta start with your childhood. If you are a person, so we're gonna go with the woman first, because women generally feel like they shouldn't be being spoke to in a certain way by a given man. So when you're a little girl and your daddy gets upset with you, or your daddy is praising you, or your daddy is just calling you, but you can tell by the tone in his voice, by the pitch, what mood he's in or why he's calling you. So when you're a little girl, you learn how to read a man. That's why fathers are important. So when you get to the middle school, high school age, now you have a little girl who's developing and she's falling in love with her father. So she once again starts to learn the pitch, the tone, when he's happy, when he's sad, when he's mad. He can actually be frustrated even though he's a man, that he can be overwhelmed even though he's a man. So she starts to learn how to deal with a man and not just her father. So now she becomes a woman. So she's out of her father's grasp. Now she has to deal with men, being upset, being happy, being frustrated, and she can deal with all those emotions because she's seen them before. She's been trained on how to deal with a man when he's angry, not to be all in his mix, to give him a little space, because she was taught that by her father. So you have to go back to childhood. I think a lot of women haven't been taught how to be a woman to a man. And that's where a lot of the problems come in. But as I like to say, when you flip that quarter, it got two sides. So when a man hasn't been there, he really doesn't know how to be there for a woman, because a woman is just a girl that has learned to do what needs to be done to take care of herself. But on the inside, y'all like to be cuddled, y'all want to be protected, y'all want to be treated like a little princess. So for men, It's a little different than what you guys go through, but we have to be there for the little girl so that that little girl can grow up and know how to be there for that little boy. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
If you hit the first domino, it's gonna hit the second gonna hit the third. And until we get a good understanding of how this cycle really works, we're gonna keep bumping our heads when it comes to just simply communicating and being understanding.
And when you just gave that domino example in my head, I saw a row of dominoes, and you take that one away. So you've got the girl and then the father and then the girl's first boyfriend or her husband. And but you take the father away. And now you've got this huge gap where they would have been connected had that domino representing the father been there, because now she's missing all of that. Because what you described, like, I was nodding because I'm like, okay, he's spot on with all of this. But the thing is, a lot of times, a lot of women don't have that father showing any of that. Or if they have a father in the house, he's not teaching any of those things. And so it's missing. So you're learning, it's experimentation. You learning with the men that you encounter in the world.
And that's frustrating when a person expects you to come to the table already have read the directions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, life is a puzzle. And as a good friend of mine says, oh, what a tangled web we weave. And that web it's full of things. You know, it catches everything, but then it's hard to unstring a web.
Yeah.
So once you string it, you know, as was it Frederick Douglass that said it's better to raise strong boys than broken men or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you create that gap, it's hard to get it back. And most women, they become so traumatized by it that it's just like there's no way that they can reverse it. You know, they live their life that way. And they end up finding a man that it's just kind of settling for what he can get out of the situation, not actually getting the woman that she's capable of being.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how to choose. And it's almost like you're stuck. It's a trauma. And neither of us, for the audience, neither of us are therapists and everything. So this is from our own observations and ideas and things. But I think that it's a trauma for a lot of women when you don't have that father figure or that guidance from a man, because we women, mothers do their best, but it drives me crazy when we say that one parent is both the mother and father, because it's impossible to do that. And I've had that and I know it offends a lot of moms when I say that, but it's like you get different things from a man and a woman, from a mother and a father. And so if you take one away, the child is missing something. Now you can find it in other places. And I saw you speak on that when one of the ladies who was watching your live said, well, what do you do if you don't have a man in the house? What do you do? And you suggested find a man that you trust to nurture your son, nurture your child. You know, you've got to find somebody to be that surrogate, because that child needs both influences.
I agree. And one of the most important qualities that I feel men bring to the household, bring to the table, bring to the children, is we instill confidence. If you don't have confidence, you can't do anything.
Nope.
You can't do the simplest task. If you're not confident that when you stand up on the floor in the morning, that your feet are going to support you, you can't even get out the bed. So confidence is one of the most important attributes of what a man gives to the household, to the children. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. That when the ground is shaky, it's like when Mr. Miyagi was teaching the Karate Kid, and he had him on it was a circle but it was in the water. And he told him, until you get the balance right, you're going to keep falling in the water.
Yeah.
And once he got the balance right, he was able to do his whole kata without tipping to the left or to the right. So the confidence of it all gives us a balance, so everything is steady. So when you're missing dad, the foundation is shaky from the start. It's shaky, and I can say that from experience. You know, as a man lacking that father's confidence building presence, I can say that. So, you know, I tell people all the time, we're important. I think we're more important than the mothers in a certain sense. Like, everybody has a role that they play.
Yeah.
But we do a lot that goes unnoticed. Like they say, a housewife, people don't appreciate a homemaker anymore because they don't understand. It takes a lot to cook, clean, and keep the house organized, everybody's schedules together. That's hard. It's hard raising kids. It's hard raising a family. So I think, you know, if people could appreciate and understand what men really brought to the table, and if men could understand what men bring to the table, we're not just our pineal gland. We're not just the money in our pocket. We're not just the protector. It's more to it than that. So, but most men don't see that.
So let's use that same domino analogy. And what is a father instilling in the son when he's a boy?
Well, he's instilling masculinity, for starters. He's teaching him how to take care of himself being a young man. So the grooming, we'll start with the grooming. I see a lot of men who have trifling feet. Like, their feet is just, they trifling. Overgrown toenails, the bottom of the foot is, you know, all the extra thick callous skin. You know, that don't make you a man.
No.
Just because you're a man don't mean your hygiene that have to be up to snuff. So when you teach a young man about hygiene, when you tell him, put lotion on, you cut your leg, it's okay to put cocoa butter on it. You ain't got to, you know, spit on it, rub it in the dirt and say, you good now. No, teach him the proper way to take care of himself. So as he grows, he goes through puberty. I think one of the most eye-opening things for me as a man, I was not taught by my stepfather. I wasn't taught by any man in my life, but that it was okay to groom yourself in your pubic area. Like, when I had to do it, it was like, whoa, I can feel the breeze, and you know, you ain't musty like you be musty. You know, it was an eye-opening experience. Like, wow.
So how did you learn if you didn't have a man around to teach you that? Like, do other guys talk to and kind of fill that gap for each other as you got older?
Somewhat. Sometimes you get people that are an intercessor for you. So they, you know, for your dad. But a lot of times you just learn because you do hear things or you see things, or you find yourself in situations where experience is the best teacher. So now you put yourself in a situation where, you know, you outside, you go over somebody's house, you got to do the number 2. So you sit on their toilet or you hover. The next couple of days, you itching, you're trying to figure out what's wrong. You got crabs. You know, nobody tells you this is why you don't go over to nasty people's house. Nobody tells you this is what can happen. You learn. Now you got to shave all your hair, and you know, it's what it is. So you learn from experience. And then mothers, they do their absolute best in filling in the gap. Now, I ain't gonna take nothing from them.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just certain things like brushing your hair. That's a man thing. That's a When a man teach you how to brush your hair, like my son say all the time, why you brushing it so hard? Because that's how you brush your hair. That's how you get the wave pattern. Like, come on, son,
And see,
brush
that
it.
looks so rough to me.
But that's how you brush it. So, you know, as a woman, you like, no, I ain't gonna brush it that hard, but you consistently saying, why he ain't got no waves? So that's how it goes. So, you know, we just you pluck from every experience. You know, life is about plucking a petal from every flower, every weed, every tree, every grass blade that you can possibly pluck from. And when you pluck so many, you can make something with it. That's how I look at myself. I've taken things from so many people and I made me.
Yeah, you make it work. And so is that how you figured out your definition of what it meant for you to be a provider and a protector?
Yes. To an extent, my mother taught me the art of being appreciative and being compassionate. When I was young, my mother was young. She was in her early 20s. So, you know, she didn't really, her childhood was rough. So she didn't have that guidance that she really needed. So some things she learned from experience. And I can remember her coming in my bedroom and just holding me, but I'm really holding her. And she's crying and she just talking and didn't know what to say, but I listened. So it taught me compassion. And from the compassion, she met a man. He said a man was to provide at all costs. And he did that. And I saw that. The all cost part, I didn't like though. Because when you provide at all costs, you're not there to protect. When you provide at all costs, you're not there to communicate. When you provide at all costs, you are going to lose something that's very important to the relationship that you are, you know, you're in with your wife, with your children. You're going to lose some things, and some things you can't get back. So I learned to provide, but not at all costs. I learned to make money, but money wasn't everything. You know, once again, plucking petals from every flower, every situation. So then when you move past providing, I learned that to protect doesn't always mean to do something. Sometimes a woman needs you to do nothing. She needs to see that in spite of everything, you can be still and be calm. And that's all the protection they need sometimes. So once again, I pluck petals from everything. The Art of War says, first know the disadvantage to your advantage, and there lies your advantage. So when I look at life, I look at that. Yes, I'm strong. I say this about the black man and the white cop all the time. Yes, I'm a black man. I'm strong. I can do anything. I know that this cop sees me as a black man that's strong, that can do anything. He'll never say it verbally, but his body language shows it and says it enough. It screams it. So what I have to do is harness all of that power, all of that energy, and control it. So when you learn how to do all of that, when you learn how to pluck all those different petals, then that's how I get me. That's how I provide. That's how I protect. That's how I love. That's how I instill confidence. And that's how I communicate. Because it all comes from the first thing I said, compassion. I gotta have compassion for each and every situation. Whether my kid did something and I know they wrong, I can react, but I still gotta, I always say to them, I get it. I get why you did it. I get why you lied. I get why you played both sides against the middle. I would have done it too. But here's the lesson in it. Now you're in trouble. And if you do it again, you'll be in more trouble. And if you do it again, now you want nobody to trust you. So you out here by yourself. So that's, I don't have to punish them severely sometimes. I might have a little compassion for your situation and some understanding. So that's how I learned how to be me and how to be the man that I am and the man that I'm trying to teach my son to be.
And so what happens when there's a man who doesn't have any of that? Because you are able, it sounds like you're very introspective and you reflect a lot. Like you pay a lot of attention to what's happening around to you, and you see effects, cause and effects and consequences, and you look for a different way. Okay, maybe that one didn't work, because when you recall the example with your stepdad, you said, or your bonus father, I don't know what you call him, but
I
when you
call him my dad.
mentioned your dad, okay.
Mhm.
So when you mentioned your dad and you watched him and how he protected and provided at all costs, like when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt that one in my gut, because a lot of times we don't talk about that cost of it. You know, of being that hardcore provider. I'm going to focus on just providing. Was kind of hard to do both unless you're really intentional. And you saw that as a boy, you saw that. And then as a man, you said, you know what? I know what I didn't get. As a boy, I saw what maybe my mom didn't get from my dad, because my dad was focused on providing, because that's what he knew to do. That's what he had probably been taught. It wasn't a deficiency on his part. It was that's what he knew what he was supposed to do. So I'm going to do this a little bit different. But what about the men who don't have any examples? They're out there flailing in the world because they didn't see anything. And then they get with a woman who's looking for them to give her all that security that her father provided in the home, and he doesn't know how to do it. So how do we as women deal with situations like that? Do we try to teach them, guide them? Like what does a woman do in that? How does a woman help a man in a situation like that?
The first thing I would say that a woman should do is allow him to be vulnerable with her. And why I say that is it takes a lot of vulnerability for a man to say he doesn't know how to make you feel the way another man made you feel. Doesn't matter that it's your dad, that's another man. So you gotta first allow him to be vulnerable. You gotta put him in a position to where he feels it's totally okay to have this conversation with you. And that's a very hard thing to do. Very hard thing to do. So with that being said, if I was going to give a woman a map, to start, I would say just be honest with them. But in being honest with them, you have to say everything you say in love. You have to check yourself at the door. You might want to rehearse what you're saying, and you want to make sure you use certain types of verbiage when you say it. It sounds like a lot, but all you're doing is just making sure that you put his feelings in the forefront. Not saying negate yours, because yours is all about you talking to him about what it is you need from him. So your feelings are the reason for the conversation. A lot of women can't understand that part. They still think they need to say how they feel. No, you don't need to say how you feel. Tell me what you need. After you tell me what you need, then maybe he'll say, damn, baby, that's how you feel. I didn't know you felt like that. Let me, I don't, they may say, I don't know how to do that. Like nobody ever taught me that. My mama didn't show me this. My daddy didn't tell me that. So now you start having a conversation about where you come from, which that should be a conversation amongst dating conversations. Communication, once again, go come back to it. So once you understand where he comes from, you gotta, that's the pivot point right there. You can either shit or get off the pot. So if you stay on the toilet, that means you're not gonna get everything you're looking for, not out of him. He can do better over time, but you may never get 100% satisfaction from the things that you asking him to do. So now you got to weigh in on, what am I willing to take? And these have to be conversations you have with you as a woman. After you figure out what is it I need to take, now you got to make a decision for real. Do I shit or do I get off the pot? That's what you're going to have to say. And you may have to go. And here's the bomb, here's the blow up, here's the explosion. It's okay to leave if somebody can't give you what you need. That's the one thing my ex-wife taught me, and I give her gratitude for that. You don't need nobody's permission to leave. Mm-hmm. If you feel that you can't get what you want from the person you with, then by all means, you should go. And if that person loves you enough, they should be willing to open the cage and let you fly. And if you want to come back, you'll come back. But the reality of it is, you can't expect to get something from somebody that they don't know how to give, even if they're learning or trying to learn how to give it to you. That's it.
So we got to get better at accepting people as they are, not as we want them to be. Either you can accept them as they are, or you got to move.
But people got to also let people know who they are. So it's still a two-way street.
Yeah.
Which side of the yellow lines are you on? That's how I see it.
That communication, that's the beast. That's the beast.
It's hard to talk. It's hard to talk because it's hard to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be vulnerable because people shoot you down for what you think or how you feel. So it creates a barrier. But that's where the thick skin come in. You still got to say what you got to say. So that's how I feel about it.
How can women create safe spaces for a man that they're in a relationship with, or that even in the dating stage? How do you let a man know it's okay to be vulnerable with you?
Tell him. Mean it. Let your actions back up your verbiage. If he tells you I like to be pampered, don't look at him like, what do you mean pampered? That's a woman thing. It's not a woman's thing.
No.
It's a thing that for people. Like the first time a woman ever, I got out the shower and she put lotion, like she lotioned me down like a baby. Oh my God. I see why babies get out the bathtub, get lotioned down and be like, oh my Lord. So I did it.
Yeah.
You know, when the man tells you, when you talk to me rough, it hurts my feelings. Don't say, I don't even know you like that. We ain't even been dating that long. No, just hurt him. Yeah. It hurt his feelings. He don't like it. He may like you more than you like him. Or he just may be a sensitive man. Don't make him less than a man. Just have feelings and emotions. Respect them. So I think it's about respect. Just respect that person and what they stand for and what they don't stand for. I think that's how you create that square for them to get in.
And my last question before we talk a little bit about Ron's fried rice is, okay. What is it something that what do men need from women that they are afraid to ask for? See, so here's the funny. So I asked the other guys that same question. They did the same thing. Why is that such a heavy question?
Because it's heavy. The answer is heavy.
Okay.
We really do need for women to be sluts at home. Just, I ain't gonna lie to you. We, as men, a lot of men ain't gonna tell the truth, but we need our women to be nasty. We need them to be hornier than us. Okay. We need them to be men sexually, but have vaginas. That's what we need. We don't be wanting her tired. We don't be wanting her, I don't really like giving you head. None of that. Now, we still have to respect you as a woman and you doing these things for us, but the limitations just gotta go. The red tape gotta go.
Now, are you talking about in dating or in marriage?
I'm talking about okay, I get it that marriage and dating is different.
Okay.
But I feel this way. I meet a wife, I don't marry one. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Okay.
So if I meet a wife, I don't marry one, that means that when I meet you and I start liking you, and we start dating, and we start hanging out more, and we start doing the horizontal poker, as they call it, and we starting to get a little bit more exclusive, and now it's just for real, you and me, and that we didn't. Can you be my woman? You be my, you know what I'm saying?
So you in the serious zone. We talking the serious zone.
Yeah, you getting to where you going. Yes. You trying to get to the finish line.
Yes.
It's from day one. It starts. Be a lady in the light, be a woman around family. But when it's me and you and that bedroom door closed, don't get in the bed with them jogging pants on. No, baby. No. And let us mess up. Don't make us feel like it's the end of the world when we mess up. And what I mean by mess up is, we've been on you about this business venture, and you've been saying, no, I don't think you should do it. And, oh, come on, baby, you got to support me and boot the bam. And finally, you be like, I'm just going to support my man. I don't think it's a good idea, baby, but do you. I support you. And when that business venture flop, don't put him in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Just let it flop. He know it flop.
Yeah.
Ask him this. You got another thing you want to try? But we can try it. Make them feel like it's okay. That's kind of what we need. We need a strong kickstand and a freak. That's like, to sum it up, and then all that stuff y'all do in the middle as women, just it's everything. Just to come in the house sometimes, and y'all done cleaned up the whole house, and it just smell like heaven, and y'all got y'all little music going. It just make you feel like a boy coming home from school when mama done cooked your favorite thing. It just do all of that for you. It do all of that. Like, women are so, y'all are everything, but y'all don't think that y'all are nothing. And the reason I say that is because y'all want to be like us. Why y'all want to be like us? When y'all are all of this, y'all everything. Every little smell good, look good, sound pretty. Oh my God. Who said it? Alexander, I can't remember this guy's name, but he said, You said she had a baby, like that'd be ordinary. That'd be extraordinary. He just talk about how it's a poem called Shucks.
Now we're gonna have to find this, and I'll be able to link it. And
I'll find. I'll
okay.
send you the link.
Okay.
But he say, black woman meet you in box, and you don't want to be in there. He say, you don't want to be in there, but yet she be in there because she see you in there, so she want to be with you, so she be in there. Like the way he said it was so everything.
Yeah.
Like it's called Black Women Studies.
Okay.
Black Women Studies. Black women, y'all are everything. But I think y'all get caught up in too many of the wrong struggles, like the women's liberation movement. Y'all worked in the fields every day with your man, side by side with your man. So why did y'all need to feel that y'all were important to the workforce when y'all had been in the workforce forever? That was a white woman's thing.
Ooh. I agree with you on that. That's why I said that. I'm like, the episode that came out last week, we touched on that.
Okay.
And that was actually something I covered in my thesis for graduate school. Yeah, the women's movement largely, it wasn't for Black women, but that's a whole other conversation. But yes.
But it's relevant to this conversation.
It is. But I'm saying to go deeper and to break that down, because people hear you say that and they're like, well, wow, women should get equal pay. And that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, women should be compensated for their work. But to get to the point of what you were saying, that wasn't, we weren't, white women were fighting to be seen by their partners and by the world. Black women were already seen by our partners. That wasn't our problem.
Yep.
Our problem was white people, racist white people. It wasn't Black men not seeing us.
Because we see y'all. Like, we see y'all. Yeah. Y'all take good care of us. You know what I'm saying? But I think that to revert to the first question about, is there really this war? I think if you tell a person something enough times, it becomes true to that person if they don't have a strong mind. Mm-hmm. So, you know, as much as people hate the Kevin Samuels of the world, sometimes he's saying something that's right. You don't like the delivery.
Yeah.
I get it. You don't like the delivery, but just eat your humble pie. Just eat it. If you can just eat it, you can get the nourishment from it. It's like when you losing weight, you don't want that kale smoothie. It's nasty. But the more the less real sugar you eat, the more sugar-free stuff tastes really good to you. Yeah. Because you detoxing yourself. So if we can get Black women to kind of take a detox for a second, start on a clean slate with a Black man, and if we can get Black men to take themselves seriously for a second, we can accomplish something between Black men and Black women. Yeah. That's my jelly beans and peanuts right there.
Awesome. And you are already accomplishing big things. So let's talk about what you've been up to, because we are excited. So my sister would go and pick up the rice and stuff for all of us. Even my mom would be like, okay, get me some. And we ready for the next phase. So what's going on? What you up to?
I'm ready for the next phase. What I got going is I'm actually building a food truck. I've always said I'm gonna make $1 million with these two hands. So with that being said, cooking the rice, I'm actually building the food truck myself. I'm pretty much at the downhill slope of it. I just loaded the fridge and the freezer on there today. I'm gonna get that stuff cleaned and mounted.
But you did that today after you picked up furniture and delivered them to a family?
I did.
Wow. I did. You're doing the thing. Yeah.
I'm trying to be who I asked God to make me into. And that takes some stuff. You know, you got to go through some things because you got to have the strength to give to somebody else. You got to endure some things because you got to have the stamina to keep going. So I'm just trying to do and be the best example, the best version of me that I can be for anybody that's drawing inspiration from me. That's what I'm working on. So um, I got to do some changeovers to a little bit of equipment, going from natural gas to LP, which is propane. And once I'm done with that, I'm 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 teetering on painting it, because I can also paint it myself. But if I don't paint it, we're gonna clean it real good and we're gonna slap the logos up on each side. I gotta build a back door, and I'll be ready for my inspections and ready to hit the streets. And as my shirt say, Black Friday City, you know?
That's what's up. Congratulations. And
Thank
I see your
thank
post. I haven't really looked today, so I didn't see the new footage and everything. And I hope you're documenting everything.
you. Yeah,
Like,
somewhat. I'm just learning. I'm learning a lot. I have taken pictures. I went live. I got a little bit of footage here and there. But for me, it's about learning, and I've
yeah.
learned how to do this. So
Mhm.
I had a couple ideas, a couple other things I want to build in reference to mobile vending. That's what they
Yeah.
pretty much call it.
Okay.
Old school snow cones. I really want to bring that back. Like,
Yep.
really bring that back. Old school snow cones. Since everybody likes flavored pickles, we can do the flavored pickles, but I want to get the big peppermints with the hot pickles.
I was about to say with
Okay.
the peppermints in the middle.
Yes, you better know. I want to take it
Yep.
old school. I want the ding ding, the ding ding, the ding
Yep.
ding. And once like all of this stuff, these are all flowers. These are all flowers. So the fried rice, um, my aunt used to make fried rice at the house.
Hmm.
And it was good. It was always good as a kid. Loved to eat it. I had a uncle, wasn't my real uncle, but that's who I call uncle. So his family was like his mother I call grandma because my grandmother and grandfather were dead before I was born. So with all that being said, these were like they were my mom's friends, but they were really my family. So he would make me omelets, pizzas, and fried rice. That's what he made. My auntie made fried rice. So I remember one day, and they weren't married. These are two separate
Okay.
households.
Okay.
Um, so I can remember when first started making fried rice. My auntie called me. She said, "How you cooking them eggs? You cooking breakfast eggs in that rice?" I said, "I'm cooking them, auntie." She said, "I'm gonna tell you the secret." I said, "What's the secret?" So I'm gonna tell y'all the secret. You gotta cook your eggs in oil, not butter, for dinner eggs or fried rice eggs. You can't cook them in butter like you cook breakfast eggs. So when she told me that, that changed the game for me with the eggs. I understood it. And then after cooking so many batches, I knew how to get them fluffy. I knew, because sometimes they'll be stringy. I knew
Mm-hmm.
how to get them fluffy. And I can remember somebody telling me, the rice good, man, but the eggs stupid in here. And I just laughed, thanks to my auntie. So pulling petals from all these different flowers
Mm-hmm.
is how I kind of became me, because I've always loved Chinese food. I've always loved fried rice. It's one of my favorite things to eat. So to create this was everything for me.
Yeah.
It was everything.
Wow. That's awesome. Like what I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and I love this thread in your story of pulling petals from everything is, and you share that. Like you share that. I mean, people, seriously, audience, you have to make sure I'll have all the links to his social media in the description box and on the website, but you have to follow him because when you go live and you get passionate about some stuff, like a couple of weeks ago, I was all over your live where you were like the one with the pussy is a gift. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And the way you broke it down though, and you also acknowledged that men is sex in general, it's a gift. It's a
Yes,
gift.
it
And
is.
the way you broke it down, I was like, come on now, because
Yeah.
people don't value themselves sufficiently. And so we don't value what we're giving to another person. That's the problem. And you just, so yeah, y'all got to follow him because you talk about so many things, but then you're showing us the process. And I love seeing somebody as they're building, because people always see the result. People will see you when you're flourishing and they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, it was easy for him. He had this, and this. That's because they're not seeing you do the work. You're actually doing this with your own hands.
But you know
Like,
what's really funny about my story and my struggle and my journey to where I'm going? Um, People have watched it. People don't know that they've watched it. Like, I wasn't on social media. I ended up, me and my ex-wife, we separated. It was a surprise to me. It was a shock for me.
mm,
So as the separation got a little bit more serious, one day I just said, I want to see what this Facebook stuff about that they be talking about. Cause I just wouldn't,
yeah.
I wouldn't do social media because I was a popular dude growing up. And I just thought that it would be too much for me to manage
Yeah.
when it came to the women, because
Mm-hmm.
I heard a lot of stories. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be a lot to manage. So I just stayed away from it. And then, knowing who you are, you got to know what type of energy you possess. So with that being said, I stayed away. So boom, I get on Facebook, and I'm feeling my way through, and I started making pizzas. And then I would kind of post my breakfast or post something I cook. And I've always liked to cook. But going through that separation was so painful. Like, it was stupid. I had to do something with that. I had to do something with the energy. I had to do something with the tears. I had to do something with the pain. So I was cooking and I was cooking and I was cooking some more. And people started saying, man, your food be looking good. And I'm like, it'd be cool. And then I started going to school, as I call it. So I'm YouTube, watching the chef shows. I'm learning about this, learning about that. And I got a friend named Candace Cox. So I would, Candace, she's a therapist, and we would talk all the time. And I would just kind of tell her, like, I would love to have a restaurant. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was telling her, she would always say, did you write it down? Uh-uh. She'd be like, write it down. I'd be like, I'll write it down. So I really never wrote it down. And I remember going to like a poetry slam, and I was listening to all this poetry, and this one guy said, you finna get something you ain't never seen in the world. You finna hear somebody do something for the first time right here on this stage. You finna watch somebody have a breakthrough. And people kept getting up there with their little binders, with their little notebooks, and they were reading their poetry.
Mm.
And it unlocked something in me when they did it. So I went home, I sat down, and I started writing. And I started writing, I want a food truck. And the first food truck I thought of was called Roll Up, because I was gonna sell everything in an egg roll, everything. So I just started messing around. So then people started talking about rice. This was 2019. People started talking about rice. So I love rice. So I said, I'm finna try to make fried rice. And I had always tried to make it. It come out, it be oily, it be mushy, it be this, it be that. I'm talking about, but I'm still trying to eat it. Like, I made fried rice. Rice was terrible. So I started learning some more. So I said, I'm gonna try it again. Man, I had fresh ginger, onions, bell peppers, fresh garlic. I had so much fresh stuff. It wasn't no way I could really make money off of it, but I was selling it and people was liking it. So I had just kind of remodeled my kitchen at the time, and I started looking at my wall, and there was so much grease on the walls. I said, man, I'm not gonna keep cooking this in my kitchen. I just painted in here. So I stopped cooking it. And it just wasn't what I wanted. It tasted like homemade fried rice. Friend of mine went over to, they went to Hong Kong. So when he came back, I had made some rice, some St. Paul's. We was all chilling, hanging out. And he was like, bro, I learned some things over there, man. Like the stuff they be messing with, you got to get on it. So we got to talking about different spices, different herbs, different seasonings. And I took that and I took the petals. And this time I started putting the petals in the bowl so I can grind these petals up.
Mm-hmm.
And what came out of that is what y'all getting now, RonRon's Black Fried Rice. I sold it 314 day of 2020. But before I even go there, Candace, once again, she come over to the house. She said, Gunn, what you doing? I said, well, what's up, Dirty? She like, I'm hungry. I said, I'm gonna make you something. She said, what you gonna make? I said, don't even worry about it. Just sit tight. So I started making her some fried rice. I gave her the bowl. She looked at it. She said, it looked good. She ate it. As soon as she put it in her mouth, she said, oh, good. It's all over my tongue. I said, what you mean it's all over your tongue? She like, it's all over my tongue, like the flavor. Well, when you eat, what's the first thing that happens when you put it in your mouth? Your whole mouth is coated with that flavor. Okay. So she kept eating. About 5 forkfuls in, she burped. She said, oh my God. I say, dog, I'm selling this on 314 day. I sold 56 boxes and 2 pans of rice on 314 day 2020.
Yeah.
Like April 10th, a girl named Jocelyn Jones, I went to high school with her. She bought a box of chicken fried rice. Jocelyn Jones's family, they ate rice every Friday. It was either rice or emos when we were growing up. She posted that rice, talked about how the chicken chunks was real chicken and big. My phone, I'm talking about, started ringing, chiming, buzzing. People, I want to order, I want to order, I want to order, I want to order, I want to order. And after they started getting these orders, it was so crazy. I would be asleep talking about orders. Like my brain wouldn't shut off. Like literally when I would wake up in the morning, it was like, get up, boom, hit the store, get your boot out. Like I do a lot of stuff. Mechanic, I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I had to stop everything.
Oh, wow.
I had to stop everything.
I remember I had told my sister because we had to get on the list early. I was like, girl, you better get that order in before 10 o'clock in the morning.
It was crazy. Crazy. I'm talking about, I literally know what it feels like for your life to change overnight. Like, real talk. And I thank God for it.
Yeah.
So building this food truck, it was a lot of work, but I thank God for the work, for the mindset to do it, and for the audacity just to try it. So here I am.
You need to get that on a t-shirt. The audacity just to try it.
Just to try it. Okay. I'm gonna get that on the t-shirt.
I ain't gonna use it. But you need to use that. You need to put that on a t-shirt.
I will.
Mugs, everything. People will buy that. That's something. That's a motto to live by.
Yeah, because you gotta have confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence. So
yeah,
I'm just ready. I'm trying to be outside pretty soon. I can't tell you the date that I'm trying to get outside.
Well, that's cool. I'll be watching, following. I'll definitely tell everybody. We will be there. So yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I definitely do. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Some people say, why are you nervous? Well, I think nerves are always good. I think nerves keep you on your toes. So I'm ready to blow the city out the waters. So I tell people, just, try me. If you want some good fried rice, if you in the St. Louis area, you need to get in touch with RonRon's Black Fried Rice. Yeah. And if you are watching and you can help me get to your market, please do so. I want to bottle my seasoning. I want to bottle my oil blend. I want to sell it as a kit so that you all can have RonRon's Black Fried Rice any time of the day or night you choose to.
Oh.
You can buy it right in the grocery store. So that's also part of my big plans. That's something I'm working toward.
Okay.
So if you're watching and you can help me obtain that goal, get in contact with me. Follow me on Facebook at Ronald Gunn or Cooking with Guns. Follow me on Instagram at RonRon's Black Fried Rice. You can follow me on TikTok at Cooking with Guns. Just get in touch with me. That's all I need for you guys to do. Try me, love me, get Black Friday.
Excellent. And all those links will be in the description box and on SheConfidential.com. So make sure y'all are following us and make sure you all subscribe to the newsletter, because I'll include in the newsletter when your food truck is up and running. So everybody knows, and maybe I'll be able to do some kind of promotion for those in the St. Louis area. So if you're not on my mailing list, you need to make sure you get on there, because we're going to start doing some really cool giveaways to support people who've been on the show. So you can get on the mailing list by going to SheConfidential.com. So thank you, Ronald. You've had a long day, long day. And so I appreciate you making time to chat with me. And I'm excited for your big launch and big reveal. It's going to be awesome. We will be there.
Thank you. And this was fun. I appreciated you having me on the show. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.